As the sun rose over the dusty horizon, the beginnings of another sweltering day became clear. Long shadows cast by the mesquite trees stretched across the plains. Jake Hawkins, a seasoned cowboy with a face creased by time and hardship, tightened his weathered leather saddle on his horse, Comet. This was to be the last cattle drive of the season, and possibly Jake's final one altogether. His bones ached more than they used to, and the thought of retiring to his small homestead was becoming an appealing escape from the relentless grind. This drive was particularly challenging. 100 head of cattle, bought by a new railroad company, needed to be moved over 100 miles of unforgiving terrain to reach the newly constructed railroad town of Silver Junction. The path was fraught with danger, treacherous river crossings, bandit territory, and the constant threat of stampedes. Thankfully, Jake wasn't alone. His loyal nephew, Eli, a greenhorn with a lion's heart, rode beside him. Though young, Eli had proven his mettle time and again. With a sharp whistle from Jake, the drive began. Dust kicked up by the thundering hooves enveloped the herd and riders alike. Jake's keen eyes scanned the horizon, vigilant for any threats. By noon, they reached the Rio Grande, its waters swollen from recent rains. Crossing it would be no small feat. Eli suggested they rest the cattle and let the waters subside, but Jake knew time was against them. Bandits had been reported in the area. Delaying could mean losing everything. They pressed on. Jake led the first few cattle into the river, Comet steady despite the strong currents. One by one, the cattle followed, driven forward by Eli and the other hands. They made it across, but not without loss. A calf had been swept away, a sobering reminder of the perils they faced. 2 days passed without incident, but tension mounted as they approached a narrow pass known to harbor bandits. Jake called a halt and gathered his crew. He devised a plan to move swiftly and stealthily through the pass at dusk. With lanterns dimmed and chatter hushed, they advanced. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out and chaos erupted. Bandits descended from the cliffs, firearms blazing. Jake and Eli surged into action. Amidst the fray, Eli's horse was hit, and he tumbled to the ground. Jake fought his way to his nephew, fending off attackers with grit and determination. Just when it seemed the fight was lost, the sound of a distant train whistle cut through the night. The bandits, realizing reinforcements were near, retreated into the shadows. The crew regrouped, bruised but not broken. Eli, though shaken, was unharmed aside from a few scratches. They pressed on to Silver Junction, the town's lights a beacon of hope. As the cattle were herded onto the railway cars, Jake gazed at the rails stretching to the horizon, a symbol of progress and change. It was the end of an era for men like him. With a last look at the herd, Jake tipped his hat to Eli. "You did good, kid," he said. "Real good."